Good evening, good evening. It is never a wrong time to do the right thing. Right now, we have to work inside the structure that is available to citizens. Yes, we are in a conflict. The Iranian government just said that the consequences that may come are because of the actions of the US. That is all of us. That means that understanding that we are a representative democracy matters, so you can understand how to work inside the confines of your structure. Yes, we try to be based on law and order. Yes, we all like to say that we're moral and we do moral things and we hold the moral high ground. But we've seen over and over the representative democracy not necessarily do what the people want to do. So we have to work inside the confines of what's available to make change, to afford change. If you didn't want to be in the conflict, what honestly could you have done outside of holding up picket signs and calling someone who gets so many phone calls that now they just play all the hate messages that they get? And then, even though they play all the hate messages, what congressperson has ever come back to you and said, because of the way that all of you have voted, that I'm going to vote the exact way the majority do? None. No one does that. No one. So we have to work to change what's going on. We actually have to change the Constitution. We actually have to give citizens more authority to make sure that the things that are happening, the actions that we do take, are because citizens understand why those actions need to be taken. We are watching, or have been over the years, we know that corporations have bought up a ton of farmland. If it belongs to them, it no longer belongs to you. We watch the FDA, the EPA all get stripped. All their people got fired. And we watched, and are watching currently all of those individuals be gone. And now we're seeing people get sick. There's a lot of deregulation happening. There's a lot of bad things that are happening that most citizens would not be okay with. I have done videos talking about how corporations were caught directly lying, but not just lying, buying experts and having experts now give expert opinion that they knew was not true. We have seen documentary after documentary after documentary. And the only problem with everything that we see when you find out something's wrong is that the majority of citizens cannot do anything to make it different, to change what's happening. That's why I'm running for governor of Florida, because at a state level where we have sovereignty, where this is possible, we need to give citizens a foothold, and we need to show the rest of the nation that citizens do matter and that citizens have the capability and capacity. If you're thinking America first, then how is it possible that you also think in the same sentence that no one's qualified? How is that possible? How do we have all of these educated people, and then when you ask citizens, hey, can we all be able to weigh in? Every citizen swears that they singularly are the smartest of the smart. Come on. At some point, we have got to weigh in on this. Y'all got to understand something that's very important. If and when bad things happen, 9/11, if and when bad things happen, innocent people always get caught in the fray. Always. They always get caught in the fray. People that never had a single thing to do with why retaliation happened or why a regime feels a certain type of way. And that's where we are today. But the reality is, if we're going to be completely honest, the moment you were born, if you are watching this video right now, if you send this video right now, because we don't have the proper level of checks and balances that is inclusive of the citizen outside of just electing an official, but also having to answer to those citizens. Until we see that happen, we have all been at the root of the problem, and we are all a root cause problem. And a root cause solution is to input the citizens, because when and if the consequences come and the innocent do get hit, the people who attack you are going to say that you weren't innocent. Isn't that just what's happening in all these wars? When all of those innocent people are getting attacked, the people who are attacking are saying there is no way that we're looking at you like you're innocent, because you allowed this to happen. Over the years, as a collective, we did not build enough good character. I mean, if we would have just built good character, then maybe people would have been a little more pushing to get the information out to ensure that all of us were on, or at least close to, the same page. But we're so nation divided right now. The quote unquote strongest, or one of the strongest nations on this planet, is divided inside. And implosion is always a problem. The problem always starts from the inside. Always. And then things start to fester from that. So what do we need to do? We need to do what we can, which is elect officials that want to actually perform a servitude role to the citizens, but make it on paper. Put it in the legislation, put it in our statutes, put it in our Constitution, that the citizens control you, that the citizens have a means to say no. Even if you have executive authority, if it is not in the best interest, if you can't convince the majority that it's in their best interest that you do this, then it must not be in their best interest. That just makes sense. But if we are saying that 335 million people cannot figure this out, just in the USA, that we cannot figure this out, then we will stick with representative democracy and get whatever comes from whoever you elect. Because I don't want anybody to forget this. There is not a single law that says that they have to be honest, that they have to be honest people, that they have to try at least to be honest. And you know what? I don't even care that you lie to your kids or you lie. I don't care nothing about that. What I care about is when you fill out that paper and you say you want to represent citizens of whatever you say you want to represent, you cannot lie to them. You must be honest to those citizens, because to try and hold anyone to a moral standard is impossible, and you should not. But what you should do is make sure that you have rules in place. So no matter how well, no matter how good somebody says they are, you have rules in place just in case they falter. Because we're not going to act like people don't make mistakes in someone's eyes. In somebody's eyes, I will always have done something wrong. You will always have done something wrong. But when you put in mitigation factors, then at least we ensure that, hey, when we find out that you did do wrong, we can do something about it, instead of just sit back and wait. Because there is so many things that we should be trying to track. It's a ton that we're going to try to track. And it's going to take time, and it takes effort, and it does get tiring. It does. Reading the news, going to find out, trying to find multiple sources, because you got to remember, in order for something to be true, you need at minimum 2 sources from no more than 5 years. You need the information. If it hasn't been changed, then you can challenge it. But if you found something that challenges it, then maybe we need to change it. But we have got to put our citizens in a place where that is possible. And that's the sole goal for me running for governor, is to put citizens first in the checks and balances order. because there are a lot of things that citizens are not okay with. And I can tell you, if you haven't heard the rumors, oh, well, what if they cut off the straits? We're going to see gas prices go up. And they may come up with mitigation factors to stop the immediate effects, but we just don't know right now. We haven't seen that. I think the average right now, or maybe what a friend of mine said they were paying out there in California was like $5, 5.38 or something like that for gas. Clearly they live a different lifestyle than people in Florida. Could you imagine if our gas was 5.38 to 5.64 or something to that nature, or even sometimes when they hit like $6 and $7? Could you imagine that? Would you imagine what life would be like with just seeing that number go up to almost $3? It would be pretty rough. So that's why we have to be a lot more involved. And right now, I want citizens to recognize how far removed you are, because I just don't want to tell you things like we need to wake up, because you ain't sleepwalking. You're watching this happen just like the rest of us. So there ain't no wake up moment here. It's take action. It is, hey, okay, I'm going to put this petition in. But if I ask you a question, you need to answer it. Do not change your stance. We want to see somebody give us more authority to economically foreshape what our future is going to look like, because it's only right. There are a lot of arguments. Because there is no authority. I don't want to argue consistently without being able to do something or make some change. It's just not worth it. So we need to do something that's actionable. It is never too late to do the right thing. You guys have a great evening.